Hi everyone and welcome back to Champions of Performance Marketing. Today we are going to talk about something that's shaking up every affiliate and content business out there, which is what happens when AI is answering the question before even anyone clicks. Joining me today is Daniel Stanica. He is the founder of Competico and Monetize Better, with over 20 years building and scaling and selling digital assets. Daniel actually did recently tracked, I think 100 or so of once successful blogs over 4 years, and he had some insightful results that I hope he will share with us about what's happening with organic traffic. So, in this episode, I want to dig into what's actually going on with AI and search right now, why some sites are thriving while others got wiped out, how AI decides who to trust and recommend, and what affiliates and media buyers can do about it. So, Daniel, thank you for joining me today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here, and especially because it's a show that I'm checking from time to time because you manage to bring great people from the industry that have insights and have details that they share. So I'm happy to get my turn to be here and to answer to your invitation. And yeah, definitely I have some insights that I am glad to share with the community and with the industry, and we'll start to dig more into it for sure.
That's awesome. Let's start with your journey. I always like to start with the journey of my guest. You started out as a developer. How does someone go from writing code to, I don't know, affiliate sites, advising brands on AI, selling businesses?
Yeah, well, it was quite a journey, but I was really happy at every step. And I learned a lot over the years. Basically, I started like 20 years already. And I started as a PHP developer. I was doing like scripts, I was doing small software back then. And mostly I was doing as a freelancer. After the freelancer side, when I got enough experience, I started to develop my own businesses. Obviously, only digital businesses. That's something that I definitely want to say. For me, I don't like managing stocks, managing timetables, and things like that. For me,
Me
digital
neither.
this is the perfect thing because you can make your own schedule. You do not have to deal with, as I said, stocks and everything. It's like the way to be. So after I created so many software for other people, I said, hey, it's time to create my own apps and my own software. And that's when, obviously, after you create something, you know that you have to market it, you have to start selling it. And that's when the problem came because I didn't know too much marketing. So I started to look for ways to develop my businesses. And that's where I get into marketing. And the first thing that caught my eye and my heart, to put it like that, was SEO and organic marketing. And for like more than 10 years, I first learned to do SEO and to develop businesses. And after that, I also grow my own communities, my own websites, and also help companies to find the best way to advertise themselves and to grow with SEO. And in the last year, especially after the pandemic and the ChatGPT and the AI came, I was totally pumped up to see exactly how brands are recommended by the AI because it was, yeah, it is a part of SEO, but it's also something new, a new layer that it needs to be learned, it needs to be tested and used. So that's why at the moment, that's exactly what I'm doing. I advise businesses how to grow and how to be recommended by AI search engines, and we'll definitely get more into detail later. And besides that, I continue to grow my own network of websites by building them, buying them, and in the end, also selling them.
Wow, that's quite a journey. And I see now that your developer mind went to like reverse engineer what's how AI is working to help businesses. That's amazing. So from all these businesses that you built, sold, or whatever, what's the one project that you are proudest of?
Hmm. I have to think about it. In the end, being an entrepreneur, the nicest thing that you can build exactly what you want, exactly how you want to look like. So I cannot say that I started a project that I didn't like or I didn't enjoy it. All the project that I started them because I believed in them and because they were close to what I'm doing and to my heart, to put it like that. Looking in the past, for the projects, like for instance, one of the websites that I own, it's called monetizebetter.com. And it was a blog at that time, and now it's a community where I teach people how to monetize better their assets, their websites, how to grow better, and how to build their audiences and make more money with those audiences. And that's a project that's close to me because I started growing it in like 2019, and I was growing it for like 5 or 6 years, and it's still thriving. Obviously, the SEO rankings are not the same; it's declining. But as we are a strong brand and we get a lot of organic traffic and direct traffic, the community is still growing. There are new members coming every day. And it's nice because we are a community where we actually learn and learn how to monetize better and make more of our assets. So yeah, I think that's the project that I'm most proud of.
Well, make most of your assets, meaning digital assets, right?
Only digital assets.
Okay, what made you stop and actually study what was happening right now instead of, I don't know, adjusting as you go?
You asked me why I started to look more into, well, because it was one of my problems. In the end, in the fact that after the helpful content updates that started in September 2023, a lot of websites started to lose abruptly organic traffic. So obviously, it was also my problem, and I started to understand what exactly happened, what changed, what we can do to recover. And that's how I started to first to see what happened to my websites, and then to start what happened to the competitors. And that's how in the end I end up researching 100 blogs in different niches. We have like cooking blogs, we have parenting, we have finance, digital marketing. And after I get there, uh, so basically it's a funny stuff because this list of 100 blogs I started it back in 2022. That's when the
Oh,
first time when I started to track these blogs, and I started to see exactly what they were doing better than the others back then. And because they were publishing blog incomes reports, that was something cool back then when every blogger was publishing blog incomes and what they earn every month, how they earn it. So we could learn from each other what works and what doesn't. And after time in 2026, this year in April, I revisited the list again to see exactly what changed. And obviously, I was shocked by the results because, like the median blog lost like 85% of the organic traffic from 2022 to 2024.
wow.
And in the end, from 100 blogs that I tracked, like 64% of them lost like in that area of 75% or more of their traffic. So obviously, I called my study the Great Blogging Collapse because that's almost in the end what is it is most of the blogs lost a ton of traffic, more than 75%. But there are still some good
75%?
news.
Wow.
Yeah, the figures are definitely shocking, and that's what happens in most of the blogs in the industry. But that's what I wanted to say. There is some good news because 21% of the websites, they are still thriving. They are still getting more visits and more traffic than before. So again, I went into the study mode and I researched to see what they did different than the others. And I have the findings, and I can tell you more about it.
Great. I really wanted to hear about this, but I'm now curious, how did you set up this study? I understand what you're trying to figure out, but how did you set it up?
It's very simple. I'm doing part of the marketing's job is to do competitor research. You do it, almost everyone should do it, you know that, because in the end, we are not the only company in town, to put it like that. We always have competitors, or maybe not close competitors or direct competitors, but we have competitors that have similar products and so on. So that's why definitely to all my clients and partners, I tell them you research the competition, see exactly what they do good so you can adapt to your business, see what they do wrong because that's an opportunity for you. So having this knowledge of competitor research, obviously it was easy for me to, after getting the list of the blogs, to use tools like SEMrush, like Ahrefs, to see exactly what their traffic was, what is the organic traffic, what is the total traffic, what kind of monetization methods they use, because in the study there is also there a place where we check if they make money with affiliate marketing or they make money with ads networks. So having all this data combined, I simply created the study, and so what the conclusion are.
Wow. And the number that surprised you the most was that shocking 75% that the traffic, organic traffic
Yeah,
dropped.
yeah. Like from 100 websites that were successful, back in 2022, and they were seen as models that you can inspire from. Right now, they become websites that they barely survive. I mean, let's put it like this. If you are a business and you lose 75% of your revenue, it's very difficult to survive, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's why it happens in the digital business as well. If you lose 75% of your traffic, you lose a high portion of your revenue. And that's why I've seen that all these blogs are now quite abandoned. People do not create new content. They do not update the old one because obviously they do not have the incentive to do it. I mean, if you
They're
lose.
not motivated.
Exactly. They are demotivated about it. So that was the shocking. Blogging as a business is no longer a more like a viable business model. Yeah, you can do it, and I'll explain to the people watching us what they should do. But it's not a guaranteed business model as it was before. It needs to be updated to 2026 and further to make good money.
And was there a moment when you realized that this is something structural, like it's a structure that they follow, the ones that no longer have traffic and the ones that survived?
Yeah, yeah. Well, because when I saw the study, obviously what struck me was that because I started to analyze granular what kind of content resists and what kind of content is no longer ranking. We've seen that the pattern for the content that wins is basically first-hand experience. I mean, generalistic content it no longer works because AI can produce it, summarize it easily. There is no point in creating generalistic short content. If you want to get visitors, you need to have content where you share your experience, your particular experience. You bring something new. You bring the data from your own company or from your own research. So definitely it needs to be an experience that you share. The second thing was that the
Experience. Okay.
content shouldn't be easily summarized because, like, for instance, if you create, I don't know, because we are in this podcast, top 10 affiliate marketing podcast, that's something that AI can read like 10 sources and general sources and then just create the answer. So if we create such a kind of content, it will not bring anything new. But if we create something like, what is my experience of going to 10 affiliate podcasts, that's something that AI cannot generalize and cannot summarize. It's my experience that, yeah, obviously it will be used by the AI, it will be cited by the AI. And
Okay. Makes sense.
besides that, what I observed is that websites needs to have a solid brand and brand searches. I mean, you need to be something like you have an EAT factor, like expertise, experience, authority, and trust. You need to be a brand that the AI can rely on. And besides that, the last one, what I've seen it works, is to have more than content. You need to have a product. It doesn't matter if it's digital or if it's a product that is physical. You need to have more than content, and people can add like tools like subscriptions, like memberships, but you need to have more than content to be recognized as a brand and to be cited and to get traffic from Google. So if the model before it was that you could create a content farm and publish as much as possible and general content as much as possible, this no longer works. No, you need to be a brand, to have a product around it, to have like solid first-hand experience on the content, and then Google will use that content and it will recommend that content.
So mostly to be original content, not easily copied or recycled what's already
Yeah,
there.
as a general rule, if the AI already has the content and you do not bring anything new, there is no incentive for Google or other AI search tools to put your content in front because you do not have anything new. You have the same what's exactly in the database, the same data. That's why for my clients, I always advise them to come to think what you have in your company that only you have. Like, for instance, you are running a tracking tool. You have maybe successful campaigns that, of course, you can anonymize them. You do not have to give the exact name of the clients, but you have
Yes.
general data that you can anonymize and you can come with statistics like what niche convert the best, or maybe in what country some kind of ads work the best. What are the advertiser work, like the time of when a campaign should convert better, like you can keep a campaign for 2 weeks or you can get the answer for 1 week. That's the exact information that an AI cannot create it right now because it doesn't have it and it's not running a tool to have this information, but you have them because you have the data that you can use. So that's why I advise the clients I work with to think very carefully what they have in their company as data, as unique data, and to create research pieces on them, to create reports on it, because that's something that AI search is retrieving for it. They do not have it, they need it, and they will gladly promote it to the audience.
So your recommendation is like original experiences that you as a human and as a professional have, and also the data that you as a business, as a company have that is not out there generic stuff, like a case study or something insightful, your data. That's the important part that should be shared in content right now.
Exactly.
And looking at the ones that survived or even grew, this is what they had in common, right? Or it's something else. So experience, owner, audience,
Brand searches,
product.
products, and there are websites that has all four, and there are websites that have only two of them. And in the start,
What are those for? If you can repeat them just to make sure.
first party, first-hand experience content,
Okay.
brand searches, like they are an established brand. They have a product that they can sell, that they sell. It's more than content. They have a product that use, and they also have an own audience besides Google, like a company that is not only relying on Google search, but they have their own audience that people are coming to, are driving for that content, and they want that content. So,
Okay.
for instance, if we take a company, it was to just use, like, create a lot of content, get searches from Google, and monetize that traffic with ads or affiliate marketing. Right now, we are going to the side where you need to have your own audience. And if Google see that you have great content, you have a solid brand, you have some product, and you have an audience, yes, Google may reward you also with and will recommend your content. But Google will not give you traffic if you do not have any of these.
Okay. Makes sense. And what about specific niches? Do you have from your studies some specific niches as examples, maybe?
Yeah, and we can attach to the video the graphic that I did
Wow,
um,
that's great.
regarding the niches that survived. And from the research, like the one niche that survived the best, it was parenting. And the explanation is very clear on that, because in parenting, obviously, you have most of the parenting blogs offer create content based on their experience as parents. They have a specific, because when you have kids, you have like all kind of specific problems, like treatment that you need to give, and places you have to go. So they describe this kind of thing in detail, so it's like a first-hand experience. And the second thing is that people that check parenting blogs, they do not fully trust AI, and they shouldn't, in my opinion, because it's difficult to trust with your child what an AI, summarized about what is good and what is not to do. They still prefer to read content that's especially written by other parents. They had the same issue. So the parenting niche, we've seen that it had a great growth of like 108%. Another one with a more modest growth is like do it yourself and crafts niche. Like when it's very easy to understand why, because in do it yourself, you create detailed guides on how to create specific things or how to build specific things that AI cannot really summarize. And the third niche that we've seen, it has a decline, but still a modest decline. It was food and recipes niche. And that's because Google do not summarize those at the moment. Maybe it will happen in the future, but at the moment, they simply prefer not to offer summarized content and generated answers and food and recipe. And they treat it as a content that is unique. So blogs in this niche, they get more views and visitors. And another niche that also had like a very modest decline, it was travel. And especially that kind of content where users and bloggers describe their travel experience, what they visited, what they liked, what they didn't. Because again, it's something that you prefer to read from someone that actually have been there, and they can tell you their experience there. And on the other side, we have blogs that we've seen huge declines, like 95, 90, 99%, 93% of organic traffic. And these are niches like finance, because most of the blogs in finance were simply blogs where people made lists like, I don't know, top 10 apps to make money, or top 10 apps to refer a friend and get paid. So this is something that can easily be summarized. That's why the traffic in this kind of finance niches have been totally wiped out. The same is for the money making blogging niche, where there were tons of blogs where bloggers explain to people how to create a blog and make money with it. And again, these are all tutorials that could be easily summarized. So we've seen a huge decline there. Again, from this research, we also see that if you can offer something that AI doesn't, first-hand experience on something, yes, you'll be rewarded with traffic. If you offer general content that can be summarized or there is already there on the internet, it's very difficult to rank and get traffic on that.
And how does AI decide who to mention or not, or to recommend? Do you have an understanding on that? So if you ask a question about something, AI gives you those suggestions. How does it work? Do you have an understanding on that? Uh, I don't know. Did you figure out something going on behind the scenes?
That's one of the hottest questions in the business and entrepreneurship industry. And it's obviously because in search, we have search for like more than 20 years. We know exactly how it works. Basically, you enter the query or keyword there in the bar, and then Google algorithm by putting scores on the number of backlinks that you have and the content that you have, it could recommend you or not. That was the old playbook. Right now in AI, everyone asks themselves, hey, am I recommended by the AI? Why am I not recommended?
Exactly.
Everyone, they try to decipher the algorithm. And that's obviously something that I'm working on with the clients. And that's something that I put a lot of time into researching. And I can tell you that what matters and seeing this difference is the fact that right now, when you do a search in AI, it's basically like, for instance, you write like, what's the best hosting company, let's put like that. AI, it's taking a lot from this query. It split it in different smaller queries, like best hosting, best WordPress hosting. We do a lot of checkings and then return the results by combining what they found. And that's why a difference between normal SEO and AI visibility or AI search is the fact that the context matters a lot. So, for instance, if as an entrepreneur I search for best WordPress hosting, I will get one answer. And if someone that do the same search, but he used like Claude or ChatGPT, that the tool already know that, for instance, he is an enterprise user, he will get other recommendation. Or if I search, for instance, from Romania or someone search from Asia, they will get for the same query, they will get a different answer because the context is different. I'm looking for most probably from an European hosting, while the person from Asia is looking from an Asian alternative. So that's why the context matters a lot, and people should try to mimic as many contests as possible to make sure if they are recommended or not. To briefly answer your question, what matters obviously is the number of mentions that you have in trusted websites like Wikipedia, like Reddit, like GitHub, places where search is taking and they trust with the information. And also the reviews are very important, like to have positive reviews, because AI wants to recommend businesses that have a solid and positive experience, and users have this experience. So that's why they look for, if you are a local business, they look into TripAdvisor, into Yelp. If you are, I don't know, a software provider, they look into G2, they look into Trustpilot. So that will be the main advice, to make sure, and that's what I advise to the clients, make an audit of your presence, of your total presence online, and see exactly how your presence look like. You have enough mentions, you have enough comparisons, your reviews are positive, check where your competitors are mentioned. Are they mentioned in a better light than you? If you are not mentioned enough, you should start a campaign and try to get more positive reviews, take more voices that speak in a positive manner than you, create content that explains to AI what are the main feature of your business.
Okay. Wow. Wow. There are a lot of things. I
It's not
didn't.
easy. Yeah, it definitely is not easy. And it's not a framework that is already covered and it's a pattern that we can use from A to Z. That's why we are still testing. We are still looking in what works and what doesn't. But we started to see these things that always pop up because they are things that combine, work together.
And if somebody, like a business, wants to check where they stand today, is there an actual way to see whether AI knows about them or trusts them?
Fortunately, we started to have tools that track AI visibility. And here I'll mention a couple like Ahrefs. They have their own AI visibility tracker, SEMrush has, but also Google started to add AI visibility into their Google Search Console. And another good one is Bing, that they track searches in their ecosystem. So I suggest people to add their websites in Bing and in Google Search Console, because there they will be able to see how many times the pages of their website have been mentioned in AI responses. And in Bing, you can also track what keywords have been used in the prompts to have your business recommended. The only downside for Google Search Console and Bing is that you get information only about your website. You cannot get information about your competitors. That's why we have to use other tools like SEMrush or Ahrefs, or there are a ton of tools that track AI visibility, because in the end it's not difficult. But the main problem with them is that they do not track the context. As I told you, me and you, if we do the same, we search the same prompt, we may get totally different results. So that's why we need to make sure that we choose the right prompts and we see exactly how to optimize it to get recommended by the exact buyer persona, by the exact client that we are aiming for.
Yeah, but each of us is unique and has a different context and different, the AI that you use, you teach it in different ways. Each of us, in our voice, in our, or I don't know, hobbies or whatever we use it for. So it makes sense that it will give us different answers based on our, because I think it tries to match our own, I don't know, persona.
Yeah, in the end, the AI and also Google and other tools, they want to make sure that they give us an answer that's what we expect from, what we expect to get. So that's why they take the context into consideration and our buyer persona and try to offer us the answer that will help us the most. Like for instance, I told you in hosting, they are, if we say for the same company, they may be recommended for enterprise because they have more reviews from enterprise clients, and may not be recommended for the entry level users because maybe, I don't know, they have a higher price tag, or they do not have enough clients that are beginners. So that's why we need to make sure that we track exactly what kind of clients we want to have, and then measure the response for that exact clients.
And an example of, I don't know, I think I work better in examples. A piece of content that would get quoted by AI versus one that shouldn't, will be skipped over.
So the main, just I explained before, one kind of content that will definitely be quoted by the AI, it's something that a piece of content that offers our own experience on it and is not generalistic, that has data that AI do not have yet, like piece of research with unique, like especially to put in example, my study, the Great Blogging Collapse, it's already started to be quoted in AI tools. It's already referenced by people. Why? Because nobody did that, and there are new information that the AI not have it. If I would have write a generic piece of content like blogs are no longer ranking or something like that, yeah, sure, everyone can write that, but it will not get quoted and it will not get recommended because it's just generalistic information. They are not based on research and they do not offer specific data. So if people want to get recommended, they should change a little bit if they are not doing it yet, the kind of content they write, and make sure that the content is based on real data, on research, on first-hand experience, and obviously written in a way that AI can easily decode, like having tables, using schema if possible, and so on.
Okay, can you give us more example on that? So tables, schemas,
Yeah.
what should it contain?
What works the best from my experience and the content that I create? Yeah, it's basically when you create a top recommended business, I always put pros and cons, like the AI can see exactly what are the pros and the cons of one tool. Then comparison, like how one company compares with the other. So the AI can easily extract what are the benefits and the features of one versus the competitors. And also a first-hand review where I review the company and put my experience there. That's exactly what works. And also, of course, a table, and we can add a table with all the results that we find. So can the AI extract easily the information and where we summarize them.
And by your experience working with businesses, what's like the biggest mistake you see them do that actually makes things worse than they are right now? Instead of fixing, getting more traffic, they are getting things worse.
I remember a funny story about one friend of mine that when we talk about AI visibility, like I think it was 1 year or more, a little bit back. And I was asking him like, hey, what you do to improve your results in AI visibility, to improve your company presence? And he was telling me that, hey, I talk every day with ChatGPT back then, and I'm telling him that my company is the best and he should be recommended. And I was telling him that these sessions doesn't go anywhere. You can talk as much as you want with your ChatGPT in that session, but that will not be counted as a recommendation. What you have to do is obviously to make sure that others recommend you, and it will not work to just say to yourself or to the AI that your company is the best. And yeah, obviously that was something really funny back then. But to put it like into perspective, um, my, from my experience, what I see is that there are people at the extreme. Some of them simply deny AI and they say, hey, AI will never be able to do things as I do. And I've seen that in the past with developers that they said, hey, look how dumb AI is, make these stupid small mistakes. Right now, obviously, AI, it's so good at writing code that it can at some point replace a normal developer, or not totally replace, but a lot of work can be done by the AI, and then you can only check and make sure that the code is secure and maybe optimize it from here to there. So
Agree.
definitely, I wouldn't go on this extreme path that and simply ignore AI and say that AI cannot do what I do. But on the other hand, I will also not give everything to the AI and said, hey, there is no point in doing anything. AI will take all our jobs. We will not do anything. I think this extreme doesn't do good for any of the people that are there. What I explain to people and my view is that we should simply be AI aware and keep up with the news, keep up with the developments, see what works, what doesn't, see also the capabilities of the AI, but also see the limitation of the AI. So in the end, we can be aware about what's happening and see where AI can help us or where AI can simply do some work and we'll not have to do it anymore.
For sure, AI is a productivity tool that you can use to increase your productivity in all areas, I think. So, if you talk now with a business, and what's the one thing you will tell them to start with, like to grow the AI visibility?
Obviously, I'll tell them that yeah, visibility it's something that they should definitely check in. And it's funny because I actually had that conversation out of nowhere yesterday when I was to my dentist for a checkup. And she knew she was doing a little bit of research and she saw that I'm doing AI visibility research and consulting. And then she asked me, hey, what exactly is AI visibility? And what I did was simply open my phone and I was just checking for best dentist in the area, and I explained to them that, hey, look, you do not show up here. Definitely all the people that will also use AI to take a decision. And the thing is that now more and more people use AI to check companies, to check persons, to get a review about them. If someone will check them and you will not be listed here, you lose some of the business. You should be here. And I start to explain to her that the first thing that should do is to have an audit of her online presence, where she has reviews, where she has mentions. Are these mentions positive? She has enough reviews. And after that, the next thing will be after the audit will be to start getting more content to list her services on the website, because she didn't. She was just briefly mentioning and that it without the presentation and everything. She was not collecting actively reviews for her services. So this will be the first steps that I advise any business to be aware of AI visibility, to be aware that people search their business in AI before taking a decision. They use it to compare prices, to compare services, to see what's the experience of other users. And then the first step will be to do an audit to see exactly how they stand, to run some prompts for their business, to see if they are recommended or not, and then to work on improving the presence.
You mentioned quite a few times reviews. How recent should be the reviews for AI to consider them? I don't know if business has reviews that are like 1 year or 2 years ago. Will they count for AI visibility and trust or not?
What you know is that from if we speak about the reviews left on websites or content that are review type, AI, because they are doing searches, they prefer fresh content. And there were studies that they outlined the fact that AI tried to give as the content as fresh as possible in the last 6 months, in the last year. So definitely that's where that matters the most. Because in the end, if we put ourselves and we think, like, if we go to a dentist, because we talked about it, will you check the reviews that are for the last year, or you will check the reviews that are like 7 years ago? In 7 years ago, a lot of things can happen with the business, both positive and negative. That's why both AI and me as a person, obviously, we focus on the latest reviews.
Yeah, makes sense. Perfect sense. And so if some business is now like 100% organic, how nervous should they be?
I was 100% organic and I was very nervous on that.
Okay, that's a good example.
I totally, because in the end, SEO and SEO traffic was something very easy. You created content, you got some backlinks, and you started to receive organic traffic. Very easy, very straightforward. Unfortunately, things are not working like this anymore. And I wouldn't rely only on organic traffic, because there is also a study, uh, a survey actually, when they asked publishers, well, how much do you rely on organic traffic and how do you see the evolution of the organic traffic? And the funny stuff was that the most important ones, the bigger one, they said that we also have a pattern and we also have a scenario where we assume in the next 3-4 years we do not have any organic traffic. So they don't take into consideration the organic traffic, and they want to make sure, like a stress test, how they will make it without the organic traffic. And that's something that we should learn from. That organic traffic, it shouldn't be the core of the business. Yeah, it's part of the marketing mix, but definitely we should not, like in any business, we should not rely only on one source of business. That's why it should be part of the mix, and we should also use paid marketing. We should also use organic marketing and further. So yeah, if my business is 100% organic SEO traffic, definitely I look for alternatives and I'll start to diversify it.
So to consider it just one channel and have diverse other channels included. Where does paid traffic now? You mentioned that it should be one in the mix, but it's like a backup plan, or it should be already included as something that should have been there all along?
For my clients, when they were doing only SEO, I told them that, hey, if before running an SEO campaign, you should run a paid marketing, a paid search campaign. Why? Because in the end, SEO, what it does is to give you like the first position that you already can get with paid. So if you do SEO, basically you will pay less, because creating content and acquiring backlinks, it's costing less most of the time than having to pay for every click. But to make sure that the traffic that you get is the exact traffic that you want and brings you business, I always suggested to people to start a paid campaign, see that if they are in PPC and they get PPC traffic, if they are happy with that traffic. And if they are, obviously we can supplement it and we can replace it at some point with an SEO campaign. So this being said, in my opinion, I think that paid traffic should take a large amount of the marketing mix. And as long as the business is growing, obviously they should capture that paid traffic, as long as also the organic traffic, and try to keep them as clients of the business, meaning that they should try to get them email to become newsletter subscribers, to make sure that they have some notification that they can use. And because in the end, the traffic that you already get and you maintain it on the website, it's way cheaper than having to pay every time for new traffic.
Yeah, so having multiple channels like organic, paid, email to get your own list of traffic and make sense of where everybody's coming, and then reuse that, like those emails for new traffic and so on. It makes sense. It's marketing mix, as you said, having multiple channels, tracking them, and using them to complement each other.
Yes, and in the end, as a business, we want to grow, so it makes sense to track multiple channels and see which ones are the ones that bring us the most benefits and the most traffic, qualified traffic for as cheap as possible. And because you are running a tracking business and a tracker business, that's why I always tell to people that track as much as possible the traffic, see which one makes sense for you. Never stop tracking new and trying new channels and new systems that may bring you traffic, because in the level of competition that we are now, we definitely need to make sure that we can optimize everything as much as possible. And what worked like 6 months or 1 year ago may not work today. Like, look how fast social media is changing. Like, for instance, like a couple of years ago, we didn't have TikTok. Right now, a lot TikTok, it's a hit. A lot of people are there and they are buying stuff there. They are getting their knowledge there and so forth. So that's why I always say track to make sure that you make the most of your buck, and optimize as much as possible, and search for new channels to make sure that you try to cover the spectrum as much as possible.
And for somebody that, I don't know, they run organic most of the time and now they want to include some paid traffic into their mix, where should they start? What would you advise them to
What I
start?
Well, we see that after the helpful content update in 2023, when the organic traffic for most of this affiliate business vanished, they had to replace it somehow. And the funny fact is that I was to some affiliate marketing events, and guess who was there? It was Google, which they made some similar events on that. And they said, hey, let me tell you what Google can do for affiliates. So that's when I totally understood that Google right now is seeing affiliate marketing as a viable business model. And obviously, they want a share of it. They want to make affiliates buying paid ads. So the advice for me, it will be for someone that was successful with SEO traffic to track the pages that bring them the biggest profits, they are most successful, and then try to optimize those pages for paid traffic, like to find the right keywords, to find the right funnels, so they can still make them profitable by getting paid traffic. So if, like, because you said about examples, let's say if we had a page like I don't know, best web hosting for bloggers. If we manage to get organic traffic and we get commissions from recommended specific hosting providers, and we can work the math, what I'll do is to try to start running some paid campaigns on that and optimize them to still make them profitable by getting paid traffic to that pages. Because we already have the relation with the affiliate programs, we have the links, we have the pages ready, the content is ready. What we have to do is to find, if our pages are no longer ranking organically, we need to find the replacement of getting that traffic, and obviously still make it profitable, because if we pay, we have to pay the cost for PPC and still retain a profit to make it work.
Wow, makes sense. Thank you. Daniel, you have so much knowledge that I think we could talk like 4 hours here.
For
I
sure, we
think
can
we
make a
can do
session.
another episode just to continue. If you could give an advice to somebody starting now, what would that be?
Uh, Affiliate marketing obviously is transforming, and with all these AI tools, I go to events and I see what people are building, and I see tools that, for instance, we just insert the website of the manufacturer of a product or of a service, and there are AI tools capable now that they just track the reviews, the product statistics, information, and they make entire campaigns out of only the website. So obviously, affiliate marketing is transforming. We didn't have that back days. You had to do creatives manually and check and do research and everything. Right now, AI can do this. My advice for someone that start now is to basically try to get as much as information of what are the tools that work now, and to try to understand the market. Because right now, if we see the market, people are, like, for instance, the economy is not the same that it was 2 years ago. We started to see some signs of recession in different parts of the world. Also, there are multiple layoffs in different industries. I'll try to understand the industry as much as possible. I'll try to make use of the tools that right now can help me scale and can help me start campaigns easily. But most importantly, it will be to track as much as possible, like to check the traffic sources, make sure what works and what doesn't, obviously by tracking those, and try to optimize as much as possible. Because I told you, what worked 6 months ago or a year ago, it may not be available and may not be real right now. So that's why we have to be aware, and we have to track and optimize as much as possible till we have some campaigns that are positive in profit, and then we can scale also with AI as much as possible.
Yeah, I think when you have the data, the numbers, the metrics, things get much easier. Mostly now with AI that can do most of the analysis for you, but you really need to have the data to be real. So they will not give you bad advice, right?
That's why I love it now, because one thing that AI is doing wonderfully, it's like analyzing data. You give
Yeah,
them
it's
context, you give them the data, and he is extracting exactly what you need. Obviously, on the decision side and on the strategy side, it's not the best. There still needs to be a human there. But on analyzing the data and extracting conclusion, is doing a wonderful job. That's why I advise everyone to use AI to analyze the data that they have in the company and their campaigns, and uh, try to extract the information that will help them to plan future campaigns.
I have another question for you before you close this. If there is any problem you see in affiliate marketing that you would like to solve, what would that be? If there is something that comes to mind when you think about the space and I don't know, you see that it's still there and bothers you, I don't know. If there is a problem that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would like to solve.
Obviously, I always feel good in the affiliate marketing because affiliates and affiliates companies are great people to hang up with. Some of them are very open on sharing knowledge. Others are not, but like we can understand them. They discover some niche or some specific tool that work best for them, and they don't want much competition. But most of the people in
Usually they share after a while, once
yeah,
that is no longer hot. Yeah.
and you'll not find that information in the events. You'll find them on the after party or in the party or after the event when people are more open to share about. But as a problem, and while talking with both companies and affiliates, is that in my opinion, we need to have a little bit more openness in the space, because we've seen that there is a lot of mistrust from affiliates and ad networks and affiliate programs. In my opinion, if we can have some certification that or some code conduct that will make the affiliates and people to to share the right information and the data that they have, I think it will bring more trust into the industry.
I agree. I feel trust it's kind of lacking in our industry. People don't trust each other that easily compared with other industries.
Exactly. You put it better than me in words. It's about the trust. So anything that can bring more trust in the affiliate industry, definitely it will be something welcomed, and it will positive impact the industry.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Where can people get in touch with you?
Thank you, Julia. So after 20 years working without a personal website, I decided to create a personal website because that's where I share my research. I share the events where I speak. So my website is danielstanica.com, and there they can subscribe to the AI newsletter. They can get my social. They can contact me anytime they want. I'm friendly. I like to talk about the things I'm passionate about, and digital marketing and affiliate marketing is one of them.
Wow. Okay, so you are creating your personal brand right now. After building so many brands, you are creating. That's amazing. Will you share your links to the study with us? Because I believe people will be interested to learn more about this study. It sounds very interesting. We didn't cover everything for sure.
Yeah, there are some other information there that they'll find useful, like the niches that work right now, what kind of content they should create, what kind of content it's not bringing any results in AI. So definitely, I suggest them to study. And yeah, the link will be there in the description.
I think we should do another episode for sure. I mean, what kind of content? What? Oh my God.
Let's see first what people, because we track everything, right? So let's see what people say. If they find this discussion as an open discussion useful, just please let me or Julia know, and do an episode where we can also do some workshop, go step by step on things, and take deeper the topic.
That would be amazing. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing so many insights, numbers, examples. Those are the most useful ones. And everybody, if you want to dig deeper into the research that Daniel shared today, as he said, we'll share the links with the episode, and you can come up with questions, and maybe we can do a workshop or something.
Thank you. Thank you, Julia, for having me. And thank you to the people that follow the podcast for watching it. And let's see if there will be a part two.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And that's a wrap of this episode of Champions of Performance Marketing. Thanks for joining us. And if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Keep pushing your campaigns, and see you next time with our next guest. Bye.